Good morning, everyone. Today is Saturday, May 3rd, and today we will cover the trades for YieldMax funds, TSLY, CONY, Nvidia, Misty, SMCY, and PLTY, and all the others. Because it's Saturday, obviously, most of the funds, had to do their final closeouts for the week, and we're just going to go through all the trades. And then go from there. So obviously, first we'll start with Misty, and then we'll see how this goes. I will not be covering my options trades on this video. Stay tuned for that on the Monday recap. Again, because this video is long enough, we got a lot of trades to go through. All right, so let's get to Misty. Obviously, Friday is chaos day on this template here. So there's a lot of action going on. Oh, here we go. All right, so Misty, freaking Misty. Holy trades. So they had a lot of calls to be closed and rolled into the next week. I mean, you could tell by the buy to close, right? You see all that? Yep, they're closing their calls for the week and they're opening new positions for next week. All right, so obviously this is a lot to look at on this spreadsheet, but I will, I'll just pull up the other one since we cover it in more detail, and then we will go from there. All right, so for the synthetics, nothing, no action, just a plain old boring day. So we're just chilling here with our synthetic 330, whooping ass, 19%. We're priced 19% above the 330. Do you believe that? MSTR is at 394. The 340, bring it on, right? We're priced 15.99% above that. Again, the 330 and the 340, they both, I forgot to freaking hide the 340, damn it. All right, so the 340 is closed, my bad. So what I got to do is I got to hide this tab. I woke up late as hell. I'm doing this video late, I'm sweating, it's getting hot out. All right, so anyway, the synthetic 390, this is the other one, obviously. This one expires June 20th, and even that one, they're priced 1% above, so they did catch up to that, so that's pretty good. All right, but we're here for the weeklies tab, the weeklies information, so let's get to it. All right, so how did MSTR do yesterday? MSTR went up 3.35%. MSTY went up 2.65%. So we didn't capture all of the upside, but we did capture a decent amount. So not too bad. So let's see what happened on the trades, though. Did we win our trades? Did we lose our trades? Let's take a look. All right, so anything in gray, all that means is we talked about that previously. They were closed previously, so nothing to cover. So I'll start from the top, the first one. So 392.50. You'll look, they paid $5.64 per share to close that one, which means they pretty much just lost the trade overall because they did get a 507 credit. Obviously, you'll want this credit, this open price, to be greater than the close price, and then it would be a winning trade, right? But since it's not, obviously, the expense was more than the credit. So we did lose about $285,000 on that call, and then the call we purchased, the insurance plan, the Buck Buddy, another $765,000. So we did lose about $1 million on that trade. Okay, so let's move on to the next trade. Hear the birds? The birds are out, baby. I need to decide: should I go for a run or should I go to the gym? Gotta do one. All right, so the next one, what do we got? We got a 392.50. They paid 605. So unfortunately, again, with this one, they did lose this trade. They lost about, again, with the credit call spread, the total between the two, about 1.3 mil. So it is what it is. Again, it was close, man. It's a freaking tight battle. The 390, obviously, this wasn't as close. They lost this trade as well. They paid about $8.28 per share. They lost $1.7 million on that one. Keep in mind the synthetic, cash out from the day before. Obviously, more than exceeds these losses because these aren't huge losses. They're losses nonetheless, but they're not like, you know, what sometimes we see, like they really get blown through. We get our asses handed to us. So it's not that bad. All right, so this one, the 392.50, again, tight race, but we lost. They lost what? Where is it? About 1.5 million on that trade overall. Again, I'm counting the sell call and the buy call, the credit call spread together as one. All right, here's another one, the 390. Again, the 390s, you know, not as close, so they had to pay 828 per share on that one, and overall they lost about what, 2 mil or so. Okay, let's move on. Can't even scroll. I practiced last night. Freaking ball nailed me in the finger. Anyway, what do we got? We got another 392.50. They paid about 698 per share on that, so that's another sir. They lost almost 3 mil on that. Damn. All right, so let's keep going. The 385, again, that's even lower, so that's a bigger loss. Obviously, 10.49 per share. Decent amount of contracts, too. So this one kind of hurt. They lost 5.5 mil on that. So, ouchie. All right, let's keep going here. We got another 392.50. Again, another loser, a 390, another loser, and another 390, and then another 392.50. So this is all in the same picture. So I'm just going to read it all down the line. So we lost, you know, another mil, about another 2 mil right there, about another 2.2 mil. And then another 2.5 mil. So it's adding up. Obviously, the losers are adding to our weekly, you know, overall losses. And then we got this bunch here. I don't know if you guys remember, but on May 1st, they did open a bunch of trades, kind of like a 1 DTE. And these were like, hey, what the hell? Why not, right? So they opened like a 405 and a 400 and a 425. They won all those trades. Right? If you look, they only paid 45 cents, 89 cents, 59 cents. So, you know, here, let me get those in the screen. So all of these, they made money. So that's good. So let's see how much we made. About 262,000, another 3.1 mil, another 972,000, 448,000, and 1.5 mil. Again, the win is not reflecting on this one because, I don't know, it didn't... I didn't see a closure on that one. So I don't know what they did. Did it expire worthless or what happened with that one? But either way, it doesn't really matter. All right, so May 2nd, these are the new trades, right? And yeah, man, there's a freaking lot. A lot. So what do you notice, all right? So here's a test. For those of you watching on the premiere, let's see if you can answer in the chat. What do you notice about these trades? Hello, what's the answer? All right. If you said there's no credit call spreads, you win. What do you win? Nothing. But for real, there's nothing. There's no insurance. There's no butt buddy. Like, what's going on? What's going on? And maybe, you know, they just can't afford it. Look at the IV up there. Look at it. It's ugly. It's 64%. This is not MSTY IV. Something's going on. What is going on? Are we becoming a stable fund here? I'm not liking it. I need this IV to be like, you know, move. Come on, trade more. Volume, pump up. But it's not there. So not only are there no butt buddies, no credit call spreads, no insurance plays, we are barely out of the money. We're like 2% out of the money, 0.16% out of the money, 0.7. Oh my God. The highest percent out of the money is 2. The lowest is 0.16. I'm sorry, there's more. Dude, oh yeah. So the lowest is 0.16. The highest is 2.7. That's no better, really. So I don't know. Like what's, and I guess, again, there's 2 factors here. It's the IV and the affordability of the buying the calls. So no long calls, no credit call spreads. Is Bitcoin kind of like going to chill out? If they do, I mean, this is going to look like a genius play. If MSTR keeps going up, it goes up to like 420, 430, 450. Oh my God. we're going to be singing Capity-doo-da, Capity-day, and we're probably going to be crying at the same time. So that's just, it's interesting. Let's say that, all right? I'm not going to harp on it too much right now. Again, we just closed out the week. We'll let things play out. But that is, I don't know. I don't know, man. All right, outstanding shares, increase of 100,000. All right, 100,000 increase. All right. And, oh yeah, I'm supposed to cover the holdings on this one. Wait, what the hell? Yeah, oh, that buy call, that's just that's a May 2nd expiration. Again, it's just hanging out. It's going to expire worthless. Sometimes that happens, but whatever. So here's all the calls in the picture. Obviously, 0.16% to 2.7. I mean, oh boy. Oh man. I really hope MSTR stays flat next week. All right, so we talked about the outstanding shares, right? Increase of 100,000. So here's the numbers. Here's the recap, and these are the numbers before my guesstimate, which is not today. It'll be tomorrow's video. 30-day IV, 64%. Outstanding shares, 134 million, 300,000. Total net income. All right. So for the weeklies for this 4-week cycle, we lost about 110 mil. I mean, that hurt, right? That hurt. 110 mil we lost. All right, so let's get to, we can't go any further because obviously all this information, the daily yield and all that crap, it's in the negative, so we can't really use it. All right, as far as the competition here, let's take a look. So MSTR, as we know, it went up 3.35%, which is really good. MSTY captured 2.65%. IMST captured 1.12%. Okay, so MSTY continues to beat IMST, but IMST, they're not helping themselves because they're not, and we'll look at that in a second. They're just not, closing their position. Like they're getting their asses handed to them because their calls are blown through. I guess they're hoping MSTR comes back down. I don't know. I don't know, man. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it's the right move in the end. MST, that's the Defiance Fund. That's like a double leverage. From what I understand, I haven't read on it. I did talk to someone, which I'll get into in a second. But MST, this is a Defiance Fund that's run by the traders at Tidal, aka the YieldMax people, aka formerly, Zega, right? So they are running it. So it is to me, it's direct competition, but it's a little different, right? I believe it's 50-50. It's like 50% MSTR exposure, and then it's 50% 2x MSTR exposure, like MSTX, MSTU, whatever. Obviously, they'll use the Defiance one, which I forget which one it is offhand. And I believe then they're selling calls on the other half, the 50% of MSTR, covered call verticals or something, I believe. So it's going to be an interesting fund, and I don't know if I'm going to mess around with it, but we'll see when it comes out. I'm definitely going to leave it on the comparison, though, to see how it does about the others. Reaction. All right, so I just want to let you guys know, because I'm allowed to say this, I did talk to the Misty fund manager yesterday. Awesome freaking guy. Jay gave me his name. It's very kind of him because, to be honest, I talk about Misty obviously a lot. So it only makes sense that I speak to, and be in communication with the fund manager, right? Because what I want to do, I want to get the right information out to you guys to the best of my ability with a little looniness at the same time. So I had about, maybe an hour-long conversation with him yesterday at noon. At lunchtime, he was kind enough to, spend his lunch time talking to me about the funds. And we had a great conversation. I learned a lot. And again, it's just, obviously I'm not going to say his name or anything, but he's, I have a whole tab of what I learned. I'm going to get into that at the end. I did learn, a couple bits of information, but that's what the reaction means. It's, we now have open communication to the Misty fund manager, and this guy does all of the Misty trades. And by the way, he watches my channel and he enjoys it because even like the part where, we yell at them, so I think that's freaking awesome, to be honest. And I was surprised. So let me just say, if he's watching, I'm assuming he is, thank you very much for your time. And hopefully we get to communicate in the future as well. Anyway, that being said, what are you doing? No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, Group D declares in 4 days, May 7th. I will have a guesstimate for Misty tomorrow morning. I don't know if I'm going to go live. I'm thinking about it. But I was going to go live today because I woke up so damn late. And I'm like, it's just going to delay the day even further, though. All right, but anyway, here's the payment information. This is what you guys are here for. So you're like, stop rambling. Get to the payment information. All right, synthetic income. During this 4-week cycle, we have made, at least according to me, according to my data, could be wrong, 680 mil. We lost about 110 mil on the weeklies, and our total net income is about a 569 mil. That's a total income per share of $4.24. I mean, that's pretty sweet, right? Pretty sweet. Now, the question is, what the hell are they going to pay us? They pay us $1.33 last month. They pay us $1.37 the month before that. And if you look at previous month, yes, they did pay us as high as $4.40. So could they pay us $4? My answer is no. No way. No way in hell. I'm looking more towards the $2 range, to be honest. So I'm going to think, I don't know what my guesstimate is. If I don't have a problem sharing it if I had one, but I didn't think about it yet. I'll have to look how much it yields and whatnot. But again, they made $4.24 per share. All right. Keep that in mind. That's the high. That's the absolute high. If we look at the IV and base the yield on that, that's $1.25. So the very low to me is $1.25 and the very high is $4.24. But again, you could say they'll pay $2 to $3. Now that's possible. 2 to 3, yes. 4, hell no. Dollar, probably not. So I'm thinking at minimum 2, at the very, very high 3. But I'm thinking like 250-ish. Again, we'll see what that yields, and we'll get into that tomorrow morning. We'll have fun with that. To be honest, I haven't even looked what Group C paid yet. I didn't even get to plug in those numbers. I am so freaking behind this week. But we'll talk about all that tomorrow on the guesstimate video. All right, let's get to the MSTR holdings. This video is taking way too long already. Synthetic-wise, they have a synthetic 330. They have a synthetic 390. How you doing? Well, they're doing freaking awesome. MSTR is blowing up, man. So obviously the 330, they're gonna have to close. Not next week, but the week by the week after, and it's gonna be again more synthetic income. So it's gonna be pretty freaking sweet. So you have to consider that as well. So obviously we did make $4.24 per share, but we're gonna be making even more because they could always close this before declaration. So technically my number could be higher, could be adjusted if needed. All right, so here's the holdings. We went through that. Obviously, we're gonna be we're all gonna be wearing caps next week. It looks like, unless MSTR takes a freaking chill pill and stops going up. To be honest, if there was no credit call spreads, I would have thought we can go further out of the money. But I'm understanding the IV is so damn low. It's hard for them to yield what they need to. Or again, they could open the trades early, and MSTR could have gone up. Later in the day, I'm not sure, but I did not fill my water bottle. I am screwed. All right, here we go. The value of the Misty fund is 3.3 bill. The NAV is $24.99 trade price. Wow, we closed at 25. Are you freaking kidding me? That is awesome. All right, synthetic money. Again, we talked about this. How much is that worth? What's left? Well, total between the two, it's about $1.37 per share on paper. Here's the synthetic contracts. We have about 84,000. Total contracts sold. That's not right. What do we got? 13 to 17. No, that is right. Okay. All right. No. Yeah. So this is something I do remember this. I forgot to bring it up. This is obviously key. This is why I have this freaking data here. So synthetic contracts total 84,000. They only sold calls on 44,000. There's another 40,000 they could sell calls on. So yeah, we are tighty-doo-dah, right? Tighty-doo-dah. on the strikes. But guess what? They get blown through. We're going to sell calls Monday. If we open up super green on Monday, they can sell those new calls and maybe go higher, right? Higher on the strike price. But this is, again, a different type of play. Everything's a little different here, right? A little different. And I like it. You know why I like it? Because it's just not like they're trying. It's not robotic, right? There's no robots going, and it's an actual person. Because I did speak to this person and he exists. So it's like, I don't know. Anyway, so that's where we stand. So they're going to sell, hopefully, calls Monday, Tuesday. We'll see next week how MSTR opens. But yeah, ignore this stuff down here. I got some information on that, but we'll cover that in 1 second. I have the conversation notes on the MSTY FM tab. But first, I want to cover IMST. Again, this is one of the competitors. And like I said before, they did not do anything. Their 350 is still blown through. It's 11% in the money. It expires on May 16th. Not next Friday, but the Friday after. And they're going to have to pay a pretty penny. Oh, here we go again with this freaking no connection crap. But whatever. I don't even give a crap. I don't need a connection. So go away. And they got a 390. That's still in the money too. But I don't know. Again, I don't understand their strategy. Maybe one day we'll talk to the IMST fund manager when I have time. Of course, baseball needs to end before that, or because summers are not exactly not busy. It's just it's chaos. But anyway, so that's the update on IMST. All right, now here's the fun stuff. All right, let's see if I can get this all on one screen. As I mentioned, I spoke to the fund manager that handles Misty. And he's, again, awesome dude. I plan on talking to him more if he's available, as needed. And, I also told him to reach out to me. Feel free to yell at me if I screw up something, because I want to get the data out right. Although I get it in a, unusual fashion. Maybe my delivery is unusual, right? But I still want to get accurate data. Okay, so here's a little details on him if you're interested. And again, I know this video is long, but it is what it is. I think this is good stuff. He worked at Thinkorswim. He actually helped build out the platform. Thinkorswim, by the way, if you're not familiar, is the options platform that's part of now Charles Schwab, formerly TD Ameritrade before they took it over. So Thinkorswim was their own thing. TD Ameritrade kind of bought Thinkorswim, and then Charles Schwab bought TD Ameritrade. So but yeah, it's still out there. It's still a great options platform. It's what I use. So, I like that part alone. He started with YieldMax, aka Zega, aka Title, June of 2024. He's been trading options since 1984. Do you believe that? I mean, that's like 40 plus options, experience, like years of experience trading options. So obviously, I think he knows a thing or two. So I would consider him a pretty damn good expert. And he does, just by the tone, man, he has a passion. He has a passion for it, and he does care. Because, you guys know, I complain all the time about certain things. And he listened. You could just tell. I like to think I'm a good judge of character, but you could tell he actually cares about his job, and he loves his job, which is good because I love covering them. So obviously, I think we're gonna have a good relationship going forward. I talked about MST. Yeah, he did mention, that's part of the fund that, they work on as well. It's under Defiance. It may be competitor, quote unquote competitor, but it's a fund that Title will handle. It's a covered call vertical spread on half the fund being MSTR, not the double leverage half. Okay, if that makes sense. All right, so here's something that to be honest, it still confuses the hell out of me, but I'll do my best to explain it. So I always say, and we always say, come on with the synthetic, man. Why are you only going out 1 month? Why don't you go out 6 months? Why don't you go out 6 months to a year, right? Isn't that what the prospectus says? So there is a concentration rule, which means they cannot spend or have more than 25% of their holdings in options. So there's a calculation to do that, which, I'm still learning. But basically, you take the notional value, the absolute value of all the trade prices for the options, and it cannot exceed 25% of the current MSTR price. So, like, if you go out further, way out 6 months, to purchase that call, right? To buy that call, and sell that put, those values, those trade prices are going to be pretty hefty. And if you add those together as part of the average, it could exceed the 25% of the value of the underlying fund. If this makes sense to you guys, I plan on putting it on paper, like on the holdings tab, maybe like once or twice, not like a going forward, but this was something I never knew, couldn't understand to begin with. I think I finally understand it. But again, I'm going to be doing the calculation myself to make sure it does make sense. So again, hopefully that did make sense to you guys. All right, number 4. What do we say? Oh, why do they hold such a high percentage in cash? Well, it's because they use various clearing firms, and one of the clearing firms, they require a 100% cash collateral position. Like, that's messed up, dude. So hopefully, yeah, they go bye-bye. But I think at the time, they were one of the only ones available. But now that, these funds are growing to be just beasts, I think there's many, many clearing firms stepping up to the plate. Like, I'll take it. Before, it's probably like, I ain't touching that with a 10-foot pole. So that's probably why they had to go to this clearing firm. Again, that's my guess. What the hell do I know? So yeah, they're stuck with that for now, and that'll probably go away. So the cash, that percent you see in cash will eventually go to treasuries if they can get, move on from that clearing firm, hopefully. All right, here's another one. Do you have to start closing the positions early on like the Thursday? I always said yes. And the answer is really no. He says he believes he could, close them out, all of them on Friday. It won't be easy. So preferably, that's why they do start closing on the Thursday. It does make life easier because they do have a lot of contracts. So they do try and, again, close them, towards Thursday and Friday. But, that's, yeah, I don't know if anyone cares about that, but that was important to me. I just wanted to know. Will you ever close a position and, yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't write the answer, but yes, the answer is yes. So again, and they kind of just answered it for me looking at the holdings. Yes, they do. They have calls that they can sell because we have more synthetics than, covered calls. So yes, the answer is yes on that, obviously. And that's something they did in the past as well. And why do they take the hit on the weeklies, right? To, say like Monday or Tuesday, we got blown through. Why do they close them out so early? And it's basically just so they can close out and then open a new position so they can capture more of the upside. They don't want to be capped. And that's why they do that. And again, he's kind of with me on the no close Mondays because it's just too unpredictable. So I think, the no Mondays makes sense. But again, sometimes you got to just make a call and you don't know what's going to happen in the future. Neither do we. They don't either, but they do their best. That's for sure. All right. Why are there so many trades? Like strike wise, why am I looking at a whole crap load of trades every single day? Well, again, there's 3 different firms that they deal with. So they could have a position, same strike price, same exact position with 3 different firms. So they have to put in those orders with those firms individually. So again, if they have 1,000 contracts with $400 strike, they could have to, 500 with one, 250 with another, 250 with another. And that's why it's broken out that way. So again, that's some another tidbit of information that, I wasn't as familiar with. And again, I don't know if this is important or as, that you guys want to know this stuff, but for me, it was educational. And I understand this video is becoming even longer because of it, but I got the go-ahead to share this information. I was so happy. Again, it's all good. If I couldn't, I would have shared like bits and pieces, but I just wouldn't have said, who I spoke with in general. But they don't care. They're so, they're so willing to have the conversation and let people know about their fund. They're out in the open, man. They're ready. They just want to make sure that everyone understands how the funds work. So more to come on this. So if you guys have any questions about the Misty fund, feel free to ask it because I think I covered a lot of it. I I didn't really write down any questions ahead of time again because I was kind of working. It's been a busy freaking week, but I think we covered a lot. So that's the update on Misty. I hope you guys enjoyed that. All right. And thank you again, Misty Fund Manager. All right, let's get to the rest of the trades. Okay. Man, I wish I would have got water. If I may be walking to the bathroom to fill the water mid-video. All right, TSLY. What the hell did they do? Buy the close. Okay, so let's try to make sense of this. Good Lord. All right, buy the close, put, sell, call. All right, it looks like a forced closure on this. So they closed the 225 synthetic and they made bank, but they had to close, 1,000 contracts. They had to close them anyway, but it looks like, maybe a forced closure based on people selling out of the fund because they sold out of the synthetic randomly. And I don't see that they purchased a new position with those shares. So, but either way, that's fine. Let's keep going. So buy to close here, 11 cents. Let's look at the strikes, 302.50. Yep, they won that trade. Cha-ching, buy to close, 8 cents. Cha-ching, buy to close, 13 cents. Cha-ching, buy to close, 23 cents. Ooh, close. But cha-ching, buy to close, 5 cents. Cha-ching. What the heck? 590, 287.50. Ooh, that's expensive. Must have closed that early. Maybe Tesla was up higher and Tesla came back down. Probably. I don't know. All right, 22 cents for this one. They won that trade. So TSLY won most of their trades. So good job, TSLY. Let's go to your file. All right, so how did Tesla do yesterday, all in all? Again, the market has been going up, and it's going up way too fast, to be honest. My calls in my options account, personally, are getting freaking whooped, but we'll get into that Monday. Tesla went up 2.33%. TSLY went up more. Hell yeah, 2.57%. So great day for TSLY. All right, synthetic-wise, they have two. They have a 225 and a 280. How they doing? Well, they're doing awesome. Tesla's at 287. Are you kidding me? Are you crapping me? Hell yeah. All right, so here's all the trades. Oh, my God. There's so much going on here. Ignore the top blue. That's just something chilling that expired May 2nd. It will expire worthless. So, but this is what we got, all right? This is what we got in the picture. We got kind of scattered-y-do, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7% out of the money. Lowest strike, 297.50. Highest strike, 310. Is it safe for next week? Who the hell knows? They do have credit call spreads, but buddies, whatever, insurance policy, whatever you want to call it. The value of the TSLY fund back over a bill. Yay! If I had like sound effects, I do like the clapping. All right. The NAV is 855, trade price 856. Synthetic bailout money, 164 mil. Oh yeah. $1.39 per share. 30-day IV, 60%. I mean, it's freaking in line with MSTR. MSTR is like crazy. Because I always said Tesla has unappreciated IV, but they've been pretty in the 60s, pretty solid. IV estimate based on that, 40 cents. Income estimate, 38 cents. Nice. Group A declares in 11 days. But again, we got to get through Group D first. All right, let's keep going with the trades. Let's see who else had trades. All right, so who's next? CONY, right? On the sheet, we got rid of Nvidia. I don't even remember. No, we didn't get rid. We got rid of freaking AMZ. Duh. All right, so obviously we have to cover the trades. I might have to drop one of these other funds, unfortunately, because it's you guys see this is nuts. All right, so that's TSLY. Let's look at OARC, because again we're just skimming through all the funds. OARC by the close, $1.51. What in the actual hell? What is this? Why is it? Something's wrong. Something is wrong. I don't know. But I closed $1.51. ARKK. Are these formulas any different? No. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. But I'll just say Maybe it's 55.31. I don't freaking know. But whatever. Buy to close $1.51. They did not win that trade. Unfortunately, they lost the trade. The new call for next week, I can't even tell you how far out of the money is because the price is screwed up. I think it was like that last time. All right, Aptly, buy to close, 2 cents. They won their trade. Great job. New call, strike price, 210. It is 2.26% out of the money. Okay, Nvidia. Here we go. 2,500 contracts leaving the synthetic. Did they open a new synthetic? No. Oh my God, look at all the Nvidia trades. This is freaking crazy, man. These funds are nuts. These nuts. All right. Yeah. So it looks like a forced closure on 2,500 of the contracts. They did win on the synthetic because the synthetic is 110 and the stock price 114. So that's good. But let's look at the calls. Let's see. 84 cents. Cha-ching. We'll take it. We won. But then 111, yeah, that got blown through. They paid $3.69 per share. They lost that trade. 93 cents. That's a close one. I would say they probably won that trade with the skin of their teeth. But yeah, this one they lost. They paid $2.11 per share. Unfortunately, they just got blown through on that. Same thing here. Again, this is a 113 strike. Looks like they closed at 114. Same thing here. Oh no, a lot of the 113s got. Here's a 111 got whooped. 114. Again, maybe just one, but another 114. So yeah, it looks like Nvidia kind of closed just at the point where it made us a sir, which kind of sucks. You know, if they closed down maybe like a few more dollars, we would have been okay. But it is what it is, man. What can you do? Oh man, I just this video is way too long, and my watch, the battery died, so I don't even know how long or what. Obviously, this is even going to get launched even later. Probably going to be over an hour. My first video over an hour. Nvidia went up 2.52%. Nvidia went up 1.87%. That's a 74% capture. Not quite 80, but we'll take it. How about their synthetics? They have a 95 and a 110. They both expire May 16th. The both of them are, you know, they're looking pretty good at the moment, so that's good. As far as the trades, they got a May 2nd chilling there too. So we can ignore that for now, and let's look at their strikes for next week. They got a 118, a 119, and a 120, 3 and 4% out of the money. Is that safe? In this market, probably not, but who the hell knows? Again, there could be a a little tariff tweet, a tariff tweet over the weekend, bring us right back down. You never know. The value of the fund is 1.3 bill. The NAV is 14.97. Trade price 14.96. Synthetics are worth about $1.56 per share, so that's pretty good. 30-day IV 53%. IV estimate based on that 61 cents. Income estimates in the negative, and Group B declares again in 18 days, May 21st. All right, up next is CONY, but obviously we got to scroll through the others first before we get there. So let's get to the trades. And here, it's our old friend AMSI. How you doing, AMSI? I missed you. All right, buy to close 4 cents. They won their trade. Good job, AMSI. Buy to close 6 cents. Won their trade. AMSI's like, you left me. This is how you do it, son. Right? AMSI's whooping ass. So good job, AMSI. Sorry, AMSI. I can't fit it all, All right, here's GUI. Buy to close 22 cents. All right, good. GUI's winning. New call. 2% out of the money. I didn't even talk about AMSI's. AMSI's about 2% out of the money. And 1% out of the money. Yeah. All right, here's Phoebe. Buy to close. Oh, my goodness. They got whooped. You see, obviously, 10.88 per share. Buy to close. Yeah, this is not good. So they got blown through. All right? So, yeah, it is what it is. So let's talk about their trades for next week. Let's look at their strikes. 620, 3.85% out of the money. 622.50, 4.27% out of the money. 617.50, 3.43% out of the money. And 617.50, 3.43% out of the money. Up next is your boy, Netflix. All right, CONY has a trade. Yeah, there it is. All right. So here's Netflix. Netflix, right? Netflix, the best platform to watch TV, maybe. I don't know. All right, so buy to close. What? They got destroyed. They got blown through. So, yeah, unfortunately, Netflix lost their trades. Let's see the new strikes, though. 1.6% out of the money. Yeah, that's tight. It's gonna be a long week for Nestle. All right, let's look at CONY. All right, buy to close what? Call 3 cents. Yeah. Yeah. All right, they won that trade. Buy to close 4 cents. Yeah. Buy to close 4 cents. Yeah. 1 cent. Yeah. All right, we're doing good here. We're doing good. So that's some good stuff right there. And then the new calls, we'll get into that in the file. But what matters is they won their trades. How did Coin do yesterday? Coin went up 1.77%. CONY went up 1.72%. That is a 96% capture. So can you say, oh, hell yeah. All right, so synthetic-wise, they have a 195 and a 220. These both expire May 16th. All right, the 220 is not so pretty, but the 195 is pretty good. Then they also have a synthetic 200 that expires June 20th, and that's doing okay too. It's essentially at the money. And here's all their calls for next week. Are you ready? 3 strikes, 220, 220, 250, and 225, 7, 8, and 9% out of the money. More wiggle room than these other suckers, that's for sure. All right, the value of the CONY fund is $1 bill. The NAV is 758, trade price 758. Synthetic bailout, 18 cents per share. That's what it's worth. 30-day IV, 62%. IV estimate based on that, 36 cents. Income estimate, 47 cents. Group C declares again in 25 days, May 28th. Whew. All right, up next is your boy SMCY. But before we get to that, again, we got to scroll through these other suckers. Disney. Disney. I always say I want to get back to Disney, but who knows with these freaking prices. I heard the experience is not as good anymore. Buy to close call. What do they got? 91 cents, 98 cents? Yeah, I don't know really if that's a winner or not. It could be just flat, but doesn't. I don't know. It's close. All right, what about the new trades for next week? 97 strike, 4.88% out of the money. And then we got a 97, so 4.88% of the money. How you doing, Zomo? All right, buy to close 2 cents, 2 cents. Yeah, they won. I won. All right, they sold a call here, 108. That's 1.69% out of the money for next week. And then same thing on the other. It's kind of tight. JPMO. All right, they've been doing pretty good. Let's see what they're doing. 502. They did not win their trade this week. They got blown through, but what it is. Let's see their next week call. 257.50, 1.98% out of the money. Kind of tight. AMDY about to close, $1.46. Yeah, I don't know, man. They may have won that trade just by the skin of their teeth, but looks like they won this trade. They only paid 12 cents. That strike, the close one was at 98. They won the 99, that's for sure. And then for next week, they got a 105, 6% out of the money, and they got here 106, 7% out of the money. So next week is looking okay. XYZY, the worst ticker ever. What are they doing? They added new money. Oh my God, new money. People buying XYZ, YXYZ guy. Right. All right, whatever. So let's skip through that. Buy to close, penny and a penny. They won their trade. Oh my God, they won the trade by a lot. But it looks like Mr. XYZ probably been going down. Let's look at their new trade for next week. 48 strike, 3% out of the money. 47.50 strike, 2% out of the money. Okay, up next is your boy MSTY, probably one of the worst funds, at least in my opinion. Their current price is $2.59. Woof. All right, buy to close, what do we got? 4 cents? Yeah, and then 2 cents. So MSTY won their trade. So MSTY's like, screw you. I don't care if you hate me. I'm winning my trades, all right? So the new call, the new strike price, $28.50, 3.22% out of the money. And then we got $28.50, 3.22% out of the money. So that's awesome. AIYY, what do we got here? Buy to close, 8 cents. They won their trade. New call for next week, 4.54% out of the money, 2.31% out of the money. I'll wait. And then here's one more buy to close. Yes, they won that trade as well. All right, Misty, yeah, we know about Misty. Ybit, what do they got? Buy to close, 4 cents, 4 cents. Ybit won their trade, and their calls next week are 4% and 2% out of the money. And then this MBTX crap, I'm just going to skip through that. GDXY, buy to close, 2 cents. They won their trade, 3 cents. They won that trade. All right, so their calls for next week, 4% out of the money and 4% out of the money. All right, SNOY bought a close, 456. Nope, they got whooped. They lost their trade. New strike for next week, 175, 4.38% out of the money. ABNY bought a close, 2 cents. They won that trade. Good job. And bought a close, 6 cents, 2 cents. They won that trade. So All right, that's pretty good. Let's see what they open for next week. They have a 127, 1.39% out of the money, and 126.59% out of the money. Fiat, don't care. Babo, oh man, Babo, we missed you. About to close 123. Ooh, yeah, it looks like they just probably lost that trade. About to close 2 cents, they won that trade. 3 cents, they won that trade. 234 again, they probably just lost that one, which, you know, that sucks, but it is what it is. New strikes for next week, 3% out of the money, 4% out of the money, 4% out of the money, and 3% out of the money. So that's pretty good. All right, here we are on SMCY. I got to take a, oh man, I'm all out of water on that one. I got another water bottle here, which has like bottom of the barrel crap. Nastiness. All right. Was not prepared for this video. There was like, you know, you can't, I don't know. I can't wake up late anymore. I got to get some normal sleep again. All right, so what do we got? Buy, call, sell, put, sell. Okay. All right, so what are they doing here? They're adding new contracts here to the synthetic. All right, the synthetic is what, 30, and the current price is at 33. All right, that's fine. And then what? They're selling a call. Yeah, 8% out of the money. Yeah, I like it. All right, let's go to the file. All right, so SMCI, SMCY, let's see how they doing. All right, SMCI went up 2.91%. SMCY went up 2.27%. 78% capture. Okay, we'll take it. How's their synthetic doing? Well, it's a $30 strike. It's doing all right because SMCI is at 33. All right, it's coming back up, right? Slowly, slowly, slowly. This synthetic expires May 16th. So let's see how all that plays out. And then here's their calls for next week. You ready? Here we go. We got 5. One's in the money already, so that's not doing too well. The 3350's in the money. But the other ones are 2, 3, 8, and 9% out of the money. So what are they? They are scattered-doo. But yeah, man, we'll see. That's all I gotta say. All right, the value of the fund is 145 mil. The NAV is 1848, trade price 1851. Their synthetic is worth $1.78 per share. They have a sweet-ass IV, a 30-day IV of 86%. IV estimate based on that, $1.24. They're part of Group D, and they're part of tomorrow's video. The part of the guesstimate, they will be declared in 4 days, May 7th. And then last but not least, it's your boy PLTY. So let's go back to the trades. Here we go. What did they do? Buy, call, sell, okay. So they added new money. That's good. Let's see if they won their trades, though. Oh, 689 and 638. Did they win their trades? No. They lost their trades, but it's okay. We got a new week. Here we go. What'd they choose? 142. Ooh, and 138. All right. But guess what? Both double digit out of the money. Yes, very, very nice. I like it a lot. All right, Palantir or Plater or PLTR, whatever you want to call it, it went up 6.5%, okay? Is that awesome? No. You know why? Because PLTY was not ready for it. PLTY went up a disgusting 2.93%. Oh my goodness. This is horrible. The capture, it was 45%. I'm running out of voice and I'm running out of water. We got big problems in the garage today, but bear with me. So yeah. Anyway, so what do we got? We got the freaking synthetic, $100 synthetic. How's that? It's doing awesome. All right. There's no worries on the synthetic. The calls, however, I mean, you saw them, right? They got freaking. They got destroyed and we got capped. It is what it is. All right. So let's talk about next week. Next week, what do we got? We got 3 strikes. Oh, yikes. 0.58% out of the money. That's the lowest, but the other 2 are double digits. So that's okay, I guess. And we'll see how it goes. And guess what? Platy's following suit like MSTY. No cover call spreads. Oh boy. But they're trading all their synthetics, it looks like. So we'll see how it goes. All right, the value of the Platy fund, 308 mil. The NAV is 67.41. The trade price 66.91. All right, synthetic money. Oh my God, it's worth 13.30 per share on paper. So 30-day IV, absolutely freaking amazing. 83%, man. I missed that on MSTR. IV estimate 431. Income estimate 962. Group B declares in 18 days. I mean, that distribution is going to be too sweet. I can't wait for it. All right, so let's go back to the files and finish up whatever we got to cover here. And then we can close out. Again, I know this is a long-ass video. For those of you hanging around, you're awesome. Thank you very much. All right, Marrow, about to close 4 cents, about to close 4 cents. All right, so they won their trades. Awesome. Strike price for next week, 7% out of the money. 7% out of the money and 3% out of the money. Ooh. All right, up next is your boy Sivney or Carvani, right? You want to buy a car, use Carvana? Yeah, no thanks. Anyway, they're synthetic forced closure, it looks like, so that's all right. It's only 150 contracts. Let's see if they won their trades. They closed at 255. They lost that trade. They paid 253. They lost that trade. All right, they lost their trades. That looks like a rough outing for Sivney. Let's look at their new strike for this week. 13% out of the money. Cool. 12.8% out of the money. Cool. And then 13% of the money. All right, that's pretty awesome. All right, Winter, we don't talk about you. Ulti, yeah, Ulti, no, definitely not talking about Ulti. There is another YouTuber that's just starting, and he is talking about Ulti, so go check him out. What's his channel? I think his channel name is the ETF Inspector. I think. If I remember next time, I'll provide you that name. So just Google it. All right, Google it. But anyway, let's keep going. LFGY. Wow. And wow. Wow. All right, so that's all the trades, okay? Way too many, way too much going on, and it's just insanity, right? It's just insanity to cover, something that was way more manageable is now insanity. But anyway, guys, I have to end this video because it was a long video and I don't want to waste any more of your time. But so let me just say, as always, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you're entertained. If not, come back tomorrow, man. It'll definitely be entertaining because it's the guesstimate video in the morning. Let me know if you want me to go live or pre-record. Maybe I'll do the majority. Maybe I won't. Who the hell knows? Of course, if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you have any questions, concerns, leave them in the comments below. Outside of that, I got nothing. All right? I got nothing. Nothing but love for any one of you guys who made it this far in the video. That being said, if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, you got to say the freaking keyword. You got to type in the keyword. And that way I know and others know you made it to the end of the video because this was a long one. Can't wait to see how long it is. But it was long. I'm out of voice. I'm out of water. I'm out of everything. And you guys are watching still. So you made it. You got to get the credit for it. Today's keyword is, I'm going to say thank you to the unnamed Misty fund manager. Because, he didn't have to do that, right? They don't have to, talk to us. They don't have to be as transparent as they are. They don't have to post even their intraday trades. But they do. They actually are talking about their funds out there. They're out there. They're on Twitter Spaces. They're doing this, And I just wanted to say thank you again, Misty Fund Manager. And thank you, Jay, of course, for give me his name. So I do appreciate it. Appreciate the conversation. I appreciate, learning more and more about these funds. Because again, I'm covering these funds day in and day out. I need to at least know what I'm talking about, right? So again, today's keyword, if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, you got to type in the keyword, thank you, Misty Fund Manager, on behalf of myself and the community. So community, now's your chance to say thank you. Because guess what? He watches. I won't change anything. I won't change how I cover, even though, I may talk to him, right? But so we will keep the coverage as normal. Nothing will change, obviously. knowing that, you know, the pressure's on, right? Misty Fund Manager watches. It's all good. It's all good, right? Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. I hope everyone has a great weekend. And I just want to say again, thank you for watching and have a great day. Later.